At the beginning of the story, we see a shrewd thief named Morris. He's been caught by the police in a bank robbery case and is being taken to be imprisoned for life in Alcatraz, the most secure prison in the world. Alcatraz is a prison built on a small island in the middle of the ocean. This means that even if a prisoner breaks out of the prison, he still cannot escape because the water blocks his way forward. That is why this prison held the status of the most secure prison in the world. Only the world's top criminals were kept here, but soon the reputation of this prison was going to be ruined, because now a clever thief named Frank Morris had entered this prison, who had already broken out of various prisons multiple times in the past. However, this time Morris was a little nervous because this prison was extremely secure. But Morris did not want to spend his entire life here at all. He wanted to escape from this prison as soon as possible. As soon as he entered the prison, Morris started thinking about escaping. Morris is checked thoroughly from head to toe and locked in a cell. A guard comes to Morris and says, "Welcome to Alcatraz," and from here, the real story begins. Suddenly, a bell rings, and the gates of all the cells open automatically. The officers call the prisoners out. The discipline of this prison is also very strict. The prisoners have to follow the rules of cleanliness and going to their cells on time. Everyone puts on the same uniform and comes in a line to eat breakfast. In front of Morris is a prisoner named Litmus. Morris asks, "I didn't even get a fork. Now how will I eat noodles?" Litmus tells him, "Hey, this is not your home. Whatever you have received, eat it quietly." Just then, a dangerous prisoner named Wolf starts teasing Morris. Every single prisoner in the prison was fed up with Wolf. He used to enforce his own will on every prisoner here, and there are also many cases of rape against him. The most dangerous prisoners are kept in this prison. Here, Litmus asks Morris for some food, and during this, Morris gives him his plate. When Morris looks under the table, he finds out that Litmus is not eating the food himself, but is giving it to a mouse. At night, a guard takes Morris to the warden. When Morris reaches the warden's office, the warden tells Morris, "I know that you have a very sharp mind and are very intelligent too. But what use is all that here? Because many like you came and went, but no one could escape from here. Here, prisoners follow very strict rules. Someone can come to visit you only once in 2 months, and that too only if my mood is good. The warden is a very strict person who gives very harsh punishments to prisoners, even for a small mistake. The warden says, "Don't even think of escaping from here. Otherwise, you will be chopped into pieces." To which Morris replies, "No, sir. Who can think of escaping from here while you are around?" But, in reality, from the very first day, the planning to escape from here had started in Morris's mind. During this, seeing an opportunity, Morris steals the warden's nail cutter, which was, of course, a very small thing. But Morris knew that in a prison like Alcatraz, a big job could be taken even from this small nail cutter. As soon as Morris returns to his cell, he hides this nail cutter in the Bible. The next day in the bathroom, Wolf starts troubling Morris again. But this time, Morris was not going to let him slide. Now Morris shows his true colors, grabs him, and beats him up severely. After beating Wolf, Morris now has a different reputation in the entire prison. Everyone starts fearing Morris. After this, Morris is given work in the library. There he meets a man named English. He is a senior prisoner of this prison. English was also sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of 2 men. He has spent half his life in this prison and is well aware of every nook and corner of this prison. He keeps news of everything in the prison. He also knows that Morris and Wolf had a fight this morning. He gives Morris some books, which Morris has to deliver to every prisoner's cell. In the next scene, an open area is shown where prisoners are playing some game. Then he meets an artist named Doc, who is making a painting of himself. Doc is a very simple and decent person who has been serving his sentence here for many years. He was very fond of painting and used to spend most of his time in painting. Doc used to say that anyone can go crazy in a prison like Alcatraz, but because of his painting, his mind is still functioning normally. Morris asks Doc, "Why have you made this flower in this painting? There is nothing like this on your shirt." Doc says, "This is my happiness, which is only in the painting, not in my heart." After that, when Morris looks to his right, he sees English above. Morris goes towards English. When Morris goes near him, his henchmen stop Morris. Then English gestures, "He is our man, let him come." Morris goes and sits near him and immediately brings up what is in his heart. Morris tells him, "Will you help me escape from here?" Hearing this, English bursts out laughing. "Look, son, this is not just a prison. This is the grave of all of us. If we have to get out of here, we will have to die first. Only then will our dead body be able to reach the graveyard from here. Even if we assume that you climbed these big walls and after that crossed the dangerous forces and by some magical power you escape from hundreds of guards here and get out of the prison, even then you won't be able to run away because the sea will block your way ahead. Therefore, don't waste time and quietly serve your sentence. At least you will remain alive." But Morris was firm in his intention. He wanted to escape from this prison at all costs. That night, an officer tells Morris, "You have been given carpentry work from tomorrow. A daily wage of 50 cents per hour will also be given." Morris immediately agreed to this work because he felt that he might find some tool there that could be useful in his escape. The next day, Morris asks Litmus the way to escape from here. Litmus says, "Oh, this is very easy. Every cell has an air vent. Through that, you can reach the roof. Maybe you can escape from there," and goes away from there, smiling at Morris's words. Then Doc warns Morris that Wolf is coming towards him. Just then, Wolf comes to attack Morris with a knife. Morris wraps his coat around his hand and starts fighting with him. Meanwhile, a guard comes to stop him, so Wolf attacks the guard with the knife as well. Now the matter gets worse and the guard in the watchtower starts shooting. Only then do Morris and Wolf stop fighting. Morris did not know that there was a guard on the watchtower too. He now starts noticing every single thing about this prison one by one. The guards take Morris and Wolf to the D block, where prisoners are kept in the dark all night and tortured. This was a cell where no prisoner wanted to go. Before leaving, Wolf threatens Morris, "Son, your death will be by my hands." That night, Morris has to bear various kinds of tortures, due to which his condition becomes quite bad. After staying in this dark cell for 2 weeks, he is brought back to his cell, where Litmus sends a note to Morris through his pet mouse, which reads, "Welcome back, Morris." One day, a new prisoner named Charlie arrives, who is kept in the cell next to Morris. Morris and Charlie quickly become friends. Morris then introduces him to his other friends too. At the same time, the warden checks every prisoner's cell without telling anyone. When he goes to Doc's cell, there are many paintings made by Doc in his cell. The warden is surprised that his paintings are increasing day by day. Doc had also made a painting of the warden. Seeing it, the warden starts smiling. But don't know why, the next day, the warden orders the guards to throw out all the paintings made in Doc's cell. This decision of the warden broke Doc completely from inside because Doc was alive only with the help of his paintings. He loved every single painting he made very much because this was his only happiness here, and that too was snatched away from the poor man. Morris explains to him, "No matter, it was just a painting. You can make more." But Doc was not able to come out of this shock. The next day, seeing him, Morris tells the guard, "Please keep an eye on Doc. He is looking very upset, lest he harms himself." Then the guard tells Morris, "You mind your own business." Doc is also given carpentry work along with Morris. Just then, Doc secretly puts something in Morris's pocket. After that, he calls a guard and cuts off his 3 fingers with the axe given for carpentry and says, "I don't need those fingers with which I cannot paint." Saying this, he starts screaming. Then the guards grab him and take him away. Morris sees that Doc has put the same flower in his coat with which he had made his painting. Perhaps he wanted to tell Morris that these people have snatched my happiness from me. Morris picks up Doc's severed fingers, puts them in a box, looks at the guard and says, "Go and give it to your warden. He will be very happy to see this." The next day, Morris is sitting in his cell when he sees a cockroach going inside the air vent, which gives him an idea that there must be some way to go out from here. In the meantime, English comes and tells him that Doc cut his own fingers because his permission to paint was canceled. That's why, being fed up, he cut his fingers. Knowing this makes Morris very angry. The next day in the dining hall, the warden asks Morris, "Why are you supporting this Doc so much?" He says, "There is nothing like that." Saying this, Morris goes back and sits on the table. There he meets 2 brothers, John and Clarence. But Morris talks to them as if he knew them from before. John and Clarence were actually in Morris's gang in another prison. John now started finding the job of escaping from prison easy because both these brothers were sharp-minded like Morris, and now these three started planning to escape from prison. In the afternoon, Charlie's girlfriend comes to meet him. On the other hand, English's daughter has come to meet him. As soon as English sees his daughter, tears come to his eyes because his daughter had grown up quite a bit in his absence, and English deeply regretted not being able to see his daughter's childhood. On the other hand, Charlie's wife tells him that your mother is very ill, and doctors say that she will not be able to survive for more than a month or two. Hearing this, now Charlie also starts thinking of escaping from Alcatraz, and in the meantime, the guard comes and says that the time to talk is over. Now Charlie is very upset. That night, he tells Morris, "If you make a plan to escape from here, include me too." The next day, a meeting of Morris, Charlie, John, and Clarence takes place. Then Morris tells them, every cell's air vent opens up on the roof, and secondly, this place is in the middle of the sea filled with salt water, due to which the walls have become weak. I have a nail cutter, and I have already started digging. If I dig little by little and make a small tunnel to reach the roof, then after inspecting this place, it will be known how to escape from here. John asks, "At night, if the guards find out that you are not in your cell, won't they get suspicious?" Just then, Clarence tells him, "I have the solution to this problem." He says, "There is a barber here whom I know, who cuts the hair of the prisoners. He can supply us with hair, and using that, we will make a dummy head and lay it on the bed. After which, even if we come out of the wall tunnel and are up on the roof, the guards won't suspect because fake heads will be kept on the beds of our cells." But the matter was still stuck at the point that they would get out of the prison. But how would they cross the seawater? Morris says to John, "Look, I will need your help in this. You work in the clothing department. There you will find raincoats made for those police officers. So you steal some raincoats and give them to me. We can make a tube boat and life jackets from them to cross the sea." Here Charlie says, "Brother, give me some work too. I also want to help you guys." Morris tells Charlie, "When I dig the ventilation grill, you keep watch so that no guard sees us. And when you dig, I will keep watch." Everyone likes Morris's plan, and they start work that very night. But the nail cutter was too small to dig the wall, to operate which Morris had to apply a lot of force, and Morris was having a lot of difficulty in digging the wall. He even got small injuries in his hand, but he slowly starts digging that hole. The next day, he tells his friends at the food table, "I need a bigger tool for digging. Digging the wall with a nail cutter is very difficult." Then looking at the spoon in his hand, an idea came to Morris's mind. He deliberately rubs the spoon on his shoe and makes it dirty. After that, Morris called the guard and said, "This spoon is dirty. Give me another spoon." Other people also requested the guard to change their spoons. The guard did not find anything wrong in this, and he immediately allowed changing the spoons. After which, he goes straight towards the table where another security guard is sitting on the seat. But as soon as he starts changing the spoons kept on the table, John engages the guard present there in conversation. Taking advantage of this, Morris picked up 2 spoons instead of 1 and hid one in his pocket, after which he goes straight to his cell. At night, when English comes to give him a book, Morris asks, "Will any welding equipment be available here?" English understands that the ghost of escaping from prison is still riding on Morris's head. He says, "I have already told you before that your attempt will go in vain because you will be caught and will probably lose your life too. In all these years, the thought of escaping never came to my mind because I know it is impossible. But you are stubborn, so what can I do? Try it." But Morris is not affected by his warning. The next day, he asks Litmus for matches and says, "If you help me, I will give my share of food to your mouse every day." Litmus happily accepts this deal because Litmus liked the mouse very much. That same night, Litmus passes his matches to Morris. Morris takes out a handle of the nail cutter, with which he is going to make a small shovel. Then he breaks the spoon and joins it with the handle of the nail cutter. Then, lighting a match, he welds both of them thoroughly to prepare a sharp tool. That was it. He starts digging around the vent. Charlie keeps watch. If any guard comes that way, he will immediately blow the whistle to signal Morris. But while keeping watch, Charlie falls asleep, and just then a guard comes there. But fortunately, at the nick of time, English came in between and distracted that guard's attention. And on the other hand, hearing English's conversation, Charlie's eyes also opened, but in tension, he cannot even blow the whistle, after which he drops something. So Morris, understanding his signal, covers the vent and lies down on the bed. The guard asks, "There is a smell of something burning here." Morris says, "Sir, while you are here, does anyone have the audacity to smoke? I am not getting any smell." That guard also feels relieved that at least someone values me. As soon as he leaves, Morris removes the concrete around the vent. But he sees that screws are also inserted along with the ventilation grill, to cut which a sharp tool will be required. During this, whenever Morris got a chance to go out, he would quietly throw out the cement taken out from the grill. The next day, while doing carpentry work, he picks up a piece of metal which is sharp like a knife. But Charlie tells him, "How will you take it out by escaping from the metal detector?" Morris says with great confidence, "I will see to all that." When Morris goes out, the metal detector at the door starts ringing. Actually, Morris had brought the metal in his hand. The guard asks, "Why are you taking this?" Morris says, "Sir, I thought I would use it to hang clothes." The guard says, "Don't act too smart and give it to me." Saying this, the guard takes that metal from him and lets Morris go after checking him completely. But our hero is a hero. Actually, he had stolen 2 medals. He had brought one in his hand and had hidden the second one in his shoes. With that sharp metal, he cuts the grill. Now comes the turn to make a fake head to trick the guards, for which these 4 do their respective responsible works. Charlie asks the guard for some paint. He tells the guard, "I am fond of making art." The guard also does not refuse and brings and gives paint to him. Morris grinds the concrete removed from that hole to make a powder. John collects hair from the barber's shop and Clarence collects old books from the library. After all the materials are collected, Morris, using water and old magazines, starts making a dummy head, on top of which, by applying paint and fake hair, he prepares a fake head looking completely real. Along with this, to make his plan stronger, Morris made fake cardboards from which no one would be able to suspect that someone has made a tunnel in the front wall. One night, Morris decided to go up alone, for which he kept his made fake skull on the bed and covered it up to the neck with a blanket. After which, taking the fake cardboard, he comes out of the tunnel. There, holding the pipes, Morris slowly climbs up to the roof. On the other hand, Charlie is keeping watch outside. After reaching the roof, Morris sees that there is an iron grill up there, which he cannot reach even by jumping. Meanwhile, a guard comes and asks Charlie, "Why are you painting so late at night, and why did your friend Morris sleep so early today?" Charlie says, "Yes, sir. Today Morris got tired while doing carpentry work. That's why he slept early." Suddenly, the guard's stick falls down from his hand. While picking it up, he sees that Morris's hair is looking very strange. Now Charlie starts trembling with fear that today they are done for. The guard puts his hand inside Morris's cell and touches his hair. So Morris asks, "What happened, sir? Is my hair that beautiful?" Luckily, at the nick of time, Morris had come down and lay there. The next day, Morris tells his companions that there is a way on the roof, but it has been tied with a grill, and that grill is at a great height. "I need another companion's help." Then John says, "I have dug my vent completely. Tonight I will also reach there. Both will open the grill together." That same night, Morris and John reach the roof through their vents. John lifts Morris and Morris catches the grill. John sees that this iron grill is very strong and it has been completely welded. There is only one way to remove it, and that is to cut it with a drill machine. The next day in the music class, everyone is playing the instrument of their choice. Just then, Morris's eyes fall on a small fan kept there, seeing which Morris feels that he can make a drill machine by working on it, for which he tells Charlie, "You somehow hide this fan from here." Charlie very easily hides this small fan in his instrument box. When Charlie comes out, the guards check his instrument box too, but they do not see the fan, and Charlie is allowed to go. As soon as that fan gets into Morris's hand, Morris starts working on it, and after several hours, Morris prepares a drill machine from that fan. That night, Morris and Charlie climb onto the roof and start cutting that iron rod with the drill machine. The sound of the drill machine was quite loud. Hearing the sound of the drill, the guards start coming up. But by then, Morris cuts one rod of the grill and the drilling sound stops. After the drill sound stops, the guard ignores it and goes back. Now, these four had opened all their ways to escape, after which they were going to escape from Alcatraz, the most secure prison in the world, on Tuesday night, from where no one had been able to escape till date. The next day, again, their meeting takes place, and that too in the movie hall where everyone is watching a movie. Amidst the sound of the movie, Morris asks John and Clarence, "Is your vent ready? And what about those raincoats from which we were going to make tubes and life jackets?" They tell him that everything is ready. Our dummy head is also absolutely ready, just waiting to escape. The next morning during breakfast, Morris kept the flower given by Doc on the table. When the warden saw this flower, the warden comes to their table and crushes the flower kept there. Seeing this makes Litmus very angry because this flower was Doc's favorite and Doc was dead. Litmus attacks him in anger. "First, you killed Doc, and secondly, you are not even leaving a small token given by him." But as soon as he attacks the warden, he suddenly gets a heart attack and falls down. Morris gets very angry at the warden, and the four decide to escape that very night. Morris was waiting for midnight so that the guard's watch becomes a little weak. Then we will be able to escape easily. Just then, English gives him some books in Morris's cell, so Morris says, "Want to shake hands with you for the last time." English understands that Morris has made a firm plan to escape from here. He quietly goes away from there. But then what happens, Morris had not thought of at all. The warden suddenly comes to check his cell, as if someone had told him about his plan. Morris gets very nervous because after so many months of hard work, his labor was about to go down the drain. The warden ordered to check every single corner of Morris's cell. The guard checks every single thing of Morris's cell. But Morris was no ordinary prisoner to have made a small-time plan. Rather, he had made a clean and perfect plan, which not even the warden's grandfather could catch. Even when the guard removed the suitcase specifically from the place where Morris had made the tunnel to escape, Morris was not caught there either, because he had already made a fake cardboard and fitted it very finely in the wall. When nothing is found there, the warden and the guard leave. But the guard tells him that Morris and Charlie keep talking all night long. "I smell something fishy." The warden says, "Okay, tomorrow you change Morris's cell so that neither will they stay together nor will they be able to talk." The next day at breakfast time, Wolf threatens Morris again and says to Morris, "Tonight will be your last night." Morris says to his companions, "This donkey is right. Tonight will be my last night here indeed." But in the afternoon itself, Wolf goes to attack Morris with a knife. Just then, English comes in between and grabs Wolf. Actually, English also wants to help Morris. Whether he succeeds or not, English wants to help Morris in his work. That night, Morris, John, Clarence, and Charlie decided to come out from their respective ventways and meet up on the roof. Here, Charlie agrees to escape with his companions. But then as soon as he reaches the cell, he starts getting nervous. Sitting alone in the cell, he decided not to be included in the plan, and his remaining three companions come out from their respective ventways and reach up to the roof. Those three wait for Charlie for a long time. But after a lot of time passes, when they feel that Charlie will not come, they decide to leave, leaving Charlie behind. Those three started moving forward according to their plan. But here, the dream of freedom was moving away in front of Charlie's eyes. Those three slowly started escaping by hiding from the searchlight. In this way, hiding, they reached the end of the building. But no one believed this statement of the warden. After which, Morris became famous by the name of Genius in the whole world for breaking Alcatraz prison. 1 year after this incident, Alcatraz prison was closed down because now there was no guarantee that no one could escape from here. In this way, this film made on a true story ends.